You've got someone on your team whose work just isn't hitting the mark and you need to say something. And you've been rehearsing it in your head for 3 weeks and it still feels awful. Good, because that's the conversation we're talking about today. I'm Claire Salerno and I've spent over 20 years in learning and development, and this is the single most common conversation I help people sort out. Today, I'll give you the opening I use myself and the one I've taught hundreds of managers. 3 parts in 5 minutes. Let's go. Here's what usually happens. So I worked with a manager called James. That's not his real name. James, if you're watching, hi. And he had a team member who was missing deadlines and doing the absolute bare minimum and basically dragging the team down. Now, James had known about this for 4 months. He'd talked to his partner, he'd talked to HR, he'd written 3 different versions of what he was going to say, usually in his notes app on his phone at about 11 p.m. at night. But what he hadn't done was have the actual conversation. Eventually he did. He asked a team member for a meeting. He opened with, "So, I wanted to talk to you about some performance concerns." The team member immediately went quiet, defensive, their arms crossed. The rest of the meeting was James explaining and the team member nodding and nothing actually landing. Now, James left thinking it went okay. The team member left thinking, my manager ambushed me and I'm being managed out. And both of those things can be true at the same time. And that is the problem. The content was never going to matter. James walked in as the manager, delivering bad news, and the team member heard, "I'm in trouble," before a single useful word got spoken. So here's the structure I'd invite you to use. 3 parts: purpose, curiosity, and invitation. Purpose. Before the meeting, before you even book the meeting, you get clear on the outcome that you want, what you want to walk out of the room with. For James, that wasn't tell him his work isn't good enough. It was understand what's going on and agree together what needs to change. And that's a huge difference. If your purpose is deliver bad news, you've already lost. Your purpose is always something you need the other person to help you achieve. Curiosity. Now, this is the big one, and it's also where most managers fall over. You have to show up with real curiosity about what's going on for them. Real curiosity, meaning you don't already know the answer. If you've already decided they're lazy or not up to the job or they've checked out, they will feel it immediately at animal level, regardless of what words come out of your mouth. The brain reads threat from tiny cues: eye contact, facial tension, the way you open the door. You cannot fake this. So before the meeting, you do the work. You sit with the question, what might I be missing? And you answer it honestly. Maybe they've got stuff going on at home. Maybe they're bored. Maybe the brief was unclear. Maybe my feedback hasn't been landing. Maybe I'm part of the problem. Now, you don't have to believe any of these. You just have to hold them as possible. Invitation. This is how you open the conversation. Not, I wanted to talk to you about some performance concerns, because honestly, how would you feel if someone said that to you? Instead, say, I've noticed some things I'd like to talk through with you. I want to make sure I understand what's going on from your side, and then we can figure out together what needs to shift. Is now a good time, or would later today work better? That's an invitation. It names that there is something to discuss. It positions the conversation as two-way, and it hands the team member a small piece of agency at the start, which matters because in this situation, they don't have any other agency. Purpose, curiosity, invitation. That's the opening. Everything after gets easier once the opening lands. Right, so here's what to do this week. Find the conversation you have been avoiding. Step 1, spend 10 minutes on purpose. Write down in 1 sentence what you want to walk out of the room with. If that sentence is they need to know their work isn't good enough, go back, because that's a grievance. A purpose is what you want to build with them. Step 2, spend 10 minutes on curiosity. Write down 3 genuinely possible reasons things are going the way they are that aren't about them being a bad person. Do this even if you're sure you're right, especially if you're sure you're right. Step 3, draft your invitation out loud once. Don't over-edit it. Save it as a voice note if that helps. Then have the conversation. this week. The version of you that comes out of that meeting is a better manager than the version who walked in, regardless of how it goes. If this helps, there's a free one-page cheat sheet on the Purpose Curiosity invitation opening on clairesalerno.co.uk. You can download it and keep it next to your desk before the conversation. And please subscribe if you want more of this. New videos are every Tuesday. See you then.